E. 9.1.2, Intro to Confidence Intervals. Day 2. So, again, we're talking about confidence intervals. The first thing that we need to talk about is confidence intervals is an inference. And the first thing we need to do is inference checks. So one of the first things that you're going to be doing in all of the problems that we do, and once we get back from break, of course, is check, is it possible that, can we do inference? Okay, well, S-I-N. The sample is random. N is less than 10% of the population. And I do want to say this. When I say 10% of the population, I mean like a finite population. If there's a finite number of how big the population is, we need to be less than 10%. If the population goes on indefinitely, infinite population, like tossing a coin, there is no end of tossing a coin. So the 10% condition is automatically going to be true. We can also say it's infinite or independent population. And then we have our normality check. Normality, which is n times p hat, must be at least 10, which remember is the number of successes that we observe. And n times 1 minus p hat is also at least 10. We're not going to focus too much on these checks today, but we will come back to doing this. We'll say that if these are true, then our sampling distribution is approximately normal, with the mean being p hat, and the standard error, which is the standard deviation, and again, sometimes we call it one way or the other, is the square root of p hat, 1 minus p hat, over n. Now, as I stated yesterday, sometimes I'll use this notation because when we're using the sample statistic, this is referred to as standard error. Standard error is the more appropriate word rather than standard deviation because we're using a statistic, not a parameter. I'll be truthful with you. No one, when I took statistics in college, no one really, I had a hard time understanding what's error versus standard deviation. What's like, they're the same thing? And they are, for the most part, the same thing. But one is saying, I know the population parameter, I'm using it. And the other one says, I'm using a statistic to estimate it. When we do this, we can then create an interval. And the formula for the interval, this is one of the first times you'll see the formula. The formula for the interval is p hat plus or minus, and I'm going to put this in a different color here, z star. Sometimes people will call this the critical z. Sometimes people call this the critical z. So in some of the notes or some of the Desmos, you might see it as z with a little c on top. I like to use a star for the critical. Star means critical, okay? Times the standard error of p hat. Now, for right here, we want to be 95% confidence. And so if we're going to be 95% confidence, and I don't like where that's located. If we're going to be 95% confidence, then that means that z star is about 2. This is what we did yesterday in our note. We did 2 standard deviations below, standard errors below, and 2 standard errors above. When we drew that normal model, and we did the 1, 2, 1, 2, we added twice, subtracted twice. 2. That's what the z star was. And how many standard errors are we going? We're gonna go 2. Now, for today, we're using 2. I do, as you're catching up in notes, I want you to let you know. When we get back from break, we're not going to use 2 because 2 is not the actual number that we should be using. It's about 2, but it's not 2. The correct number is 1.96. when we get back from break on Monday, the first thing we're going to learn is why is it 1.996? Why is that the more appropriate number? And we're also going to learn about, well, what is the Z-star when we're using 90% confidence, 80% confidence, 98% confidence, 99% confidence? What value do I use then? I don't use 1.96. I don't use 2. There's a different number. So as such, the real formula that we're going to be using in this case is that the interval is p hat plus or minus 2 times the square root of p hat 1 minus p hat over n. And that is my formula. And what happens is that when I do that, I'm going to get that interval A to B. Yesterday when we did this, my A was 0.0066, comma 0.0214. So I called this the lower boundary and this the upper boundary yesterday. I'm just going to refer to them today as A and B. These are the two numbers I get. This A I get when I subtract 2 standard errors. The B is what I get when I add 2 standard errors. Think about that normal model, and I'm subtracting. What is the cutoff I get from subtracting 2 standard errors? And what do I get when I add 2 standard errors? That's what those numbers A and B represent. So when we find this interval, what does it mean? We want to interpret the interval. Okay? That's our blanketed statement that we're going to write, that we need to memorize. All right? This is something that is there that for you to say over and over and over. We are blank % confident that blank is between blank and blank. Okay? We are, now for this purposes, so this is the confidence level that we have. And so again, most of the problems, remember, just as a reminder, the default is that C is 95%. The confidence level is 95%. So we're going to say 95% confident is the most common sentence that we'll write. We are 95% confident. And again, what that means is that about 95% of intervals are going to capture the parameter. We are C% confident that whatever the true proportion, of whatever it is we're looking at. So the true proportion of coins that land up heads. The true proportion of students who skip at least 1 class a week. Whatever it is that whatever our parameter is, that's what goes right there. Whatever population we are looking at, of RBA students, of adults, of whatever, who is it that we are talking about? Remember, we should talk about the who, is between A and B. End statement. Now, in yesterday's homework, if you were doing this, we were in the homework, and it should just be like, oh, okay, now we were talking about samples, we were talking about the average GPA, right? The average GPA of students at that high school, right? Whatever high school was saying. So our sentence should have been, we are 95% confident that the true mean, I know that was the true mean GPA, because that's what we're looking at, GPA of students at whatever high school was named, is between, and then whatever that first number in the interval is, and whatever that second number in the interval is. That's what you were doing on the homework. So when you're doing that homework, we are 95% confident that the true mean GPA, that's the parameter, is between so and so. But again, when we're doing this, we're mostly going to be doing proportions. That's why I said the true proportion here. I debated back and forth. If I tried to, I was going to change that problem that was on yesterday's homework, and I was like, sample mean, I don't know. Again, we're not going to do it. But I was like, you know what? It's good for you to see it at least once what sample means rather than sample proportions. That's why I kept it there. Confidence level meaning. In other words, what do we mean when we say 95% confident? So what do I mean when I say this first part of this sentence? We are 95% confident. What does that mean? And again, the most common answer that I get from students, or the most common mistake that I get from people, is they think that when we say we're 95% confident, they think that's a probability. They think that there's a 95% chance my answer is right. We think that there's a 95% chance that my p-hat is correct. Ooh, no. There's a 95% chance that my interval captures it. No. It's not there's a 95% chance of it. What we mean is that about blank 95% of random samples, and when I say random, I mean like we did in our do now, we did like 100 random samples. That's what you were simulating. You did 100. We're talking that if we did like 1,000, 10,000, if I did 1,000,000 different samples, about 95 of those random samples of size n blank n will create intervals that capture the blank true proportion. Dot, dot, dot.
138 at this moment. All baseball players, please report to room 138 at this moment. Thank you.
This sentence should make more sense to you now. This sentence right here is what we did in the do now. All right? So basically, we took random samples and we created intervals. And about whatever confidence level we set it at, when we set it at 95% confidence level, about 95%, you had a 95% hit rate where it captured. When we change it to 80% confidence, the hit rate was like close to 0.8. You had like some of you had like 0.83, 0.84, 0.78. Your hit rate was close to about 80%. If I set it at 99%, your hit rate will be about 99%, 0.99. But now, we only did 100 samples. We didn't do all possible samples. If we took every single sample possible in the sampling distribution, about 95% of all those samples will capture the interval. Now remember, how many sample proportions are possible? I hope you remember there's millions, billions, trillions of sample proportions that are possible. And about 95% of them, when we use 95% confidence, will capture the true proportion. Some of them will capture it. Some will capture right on the edge. Some will be right in the middle. But it'll capture them. The hit rate will be about 95%. So, your assignment that I'm opening up right now, and this is what I was talking about in here. So, tomorrow I'm going to bring some actual Hershey Kisses in for you to do this as practice if you wish to wait to do that. The answers may be a little off, but I think you're going to get the same probability because this is taken from actually doing it. So the idea here is that if you were to toss these Hershey's up in a Hershey in the air, what's the probability that it lands flat on its bottom? It lands flat. You know, or versus on its side. Well, we don't know the answer. That's the idea of statistics. We don't know the answer. But what? So you don't think there's none of them. There's no matter. It's like flipping the cup. You don't think it'll ever land on its bottom? If you threw a Hershey in the air, do you think that any of them would land? So it's possible. So I wouldn't ever say it's zero. Definitely possible. So maybe not zero, but maybe something near zero is what you're thinking. Maybe do you think it's 50%? Where I think if I throw it, it has a 50 chance of landing flat versus on its side. So what is just your initial guess? All right, that's what we're doing here. The next slide, you're going to simulate this. This is a simulation based on historical data that if I kept flipping them, the behind the scenes is the real answer. Guess what? You don't get to see behind the scenes. You don't know what the real answer is. So the goal in this activity is, can we get a good educated guess to find out with everybody's input what percentage will add up? And we're going to create confidence intervals. So you're going to flip these up and you're going to count how many land up on heads, record how many, and then you'll do that 10 times and you can record how many. You could do this right now if you wish to, or again, you can wait till tomorrow.
Please excuse the interruption. All baseball players, please report to room 138. All
Baseball players can't really hear, huh?
Please report to room 138.
Gotta say it twice.
At the moment.
Where I'm going to do it then. Now, here's the thing about this assignment. You cannot do the last slide 13, until the class has done their work. So tomorrow, and so that's why I said, if you want to do it today to now, you'll be stuck because you won't see all the students. 12 is, it's going to literally, everybody's work, it's going to show all those confidence intervals. So you remember how we had seen 10 confidence intervals? That's what's going to happen with you. Each one of you is going to contribute one confidence interval. You got to make sure you do the math correct. And then you can answer slide 13. All right? So, some of you are already getting up so fast, huh? Some of you already flipped and did all your answers? Okay, some of you already did. Some of you haven't even done all of them, and yet you're creating a confidence interval already. So, in order to do this, you have to do this, the second step. It says to use 1.96 in this. I forgot to change it. We're going to use the 2 number. We're not going to use 1.96. We're just going to use 2. I forgot to update it.